What is up, everybody? We are live today doing a dual weigh-in recap show. It's Bellator 266 and UFC Vegas 37. Do have, a fight that shifted on that UFC card that we haven't talked about yet. It's Jenkins versus Zhu Rong, so that should be a lot of fun. Breaking both of them down. So we got a lot to talk about here, guys. Smash that like button. I need at least 100 likes on this dual weigh-in recap show. We'll start with Bellator and then jump to the UFC. There's a lot of fun fights in the Bellator main card. You guys know, if you watch the predictions earlier in the week, I don't hate the prelims, but I'm not loving the prelims. There's definitely going to be some good bouts, though. I'm looking forward most obviously to Romero at the top. And then obviously with the UFC event, not as jam-packed, but some competitive up-and-coming talent. So should be a fun card to break down. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. Much love to all my people who are tuning in live or in replay. Shout out to you guys in the live chat right now. Appreciate everyone who supports. You guys know we're always pumping out the content. If I'm not live, you know I'm premiering the videos. Got a lot of big things coming on the channel. We have some pretty exciting stuff. I'm doing that AJ Unfiltered series, so make sure you guys check that out. We got one where we talked about Jake Paul dodging the fight against Anderson Silva. That was good. We got more with that AJ Unfiltered series, so tune into that. I want to get into this weigh-in recap. We got a lot to talk about, so smash the likes. And let's start it off. We're going to start in Bellator, and then we'll jump to the UFC, give you guys some betting tips along the way, too. We'll go quickly through these prelims because, as you guys know, we talked about it. I mean, these are debuting guys with 2 fights, lower-level MMA here. Realistically, Bellator's prelims, I guess they're hunting for the next big star, and they want to have him on contract early. But let's talk about Delgado. Dylan, face-off. Nothing really changed my opinions. You have a 125-pound wrestling champion. The guy doesn't have an Instagram. Footage, minimal, but we got to see him on the scale. Looks confident. Dylan, on the other side, is a hard-nosed brawler, explosive with the striking, but a bit wild. As a fighter, Dylan has the experience. Like with Delgado, he's got the wrestling. He's a big favorite. We've seen wrestlers that are big favorites lose to bum MMA fighters. That doesn't necessarily mean that's going to be Jesse Delgado, though. And I feel like in this matchup, he's got to have some good training under his belt. He's got to have some momentum his way, and that's why they pushed him into this matchup. I'm going to pick Delgado. I think he'll win the fight. No touching the line for me on this one. Let me quickly bring up the odds. It's not worth even considering a play with this Delgado fight, in my opinion. I'm not taking the risk here early in the night. There's definitely a lot better bets to be made. Minus 400, plus 500. The odds were bigger earlier, but people bet down on Dylan because he's got more fights. Looking at the prop betting thing, maybe you want Dylan inside the distance, plus 620. Definitely would be good value, but too risky. Not enough knowns about Jesse Delgado, but I do think probably the wrestler should get a grinding win. Next fight of the night, Edwin De Los Santos and John Adams. Saw them face off. I'm not super impressed by John Adams. I mean, he's a guy, trying to be a fighter, 0-1-1 record. Not terrible to have a draw. Granted, it was against a debuting guy. Unbeaten amateur with Thai boxing experience. Edwin De Los Santos will have a clear striking advantage. I don't think John Adams will be able to get him to the ground, and I think you're going to see De Los Santos get a stoppage. Probably second round here, maybe even early second. Could be first round too. I think Edwin De Los Santos puts on a showcase with the striking and gets a knockout here of John Adams. Let's look, though, odds-wise. Minus 750, plus 650. There's not a ton of value on the props here. Under 1.5, plus 118. Under 2.5 is minus 150. I think it's definitely not going the distance. And I think it's going to be a finish for De Los Santos with his striking. De Los Santos wins by a KO. TKO isn't available, but they do have inside the distance for minus 145. Not terrible. You have under 2.5, minus 150. Either or really is playable there. But again, lower level guys, take a little more caution, but granted, at least there is more film to be seen of somebody like De Los Santos versus Serrano in that first fight of the night. But yeah, we're going with Edwin De Los Santos by a knockout. Next, bout number 3, it is Ryan Gracie and Shane Keefe. Right away, I saw Gracie on the scale, and maybe I'm biased, but he doesn't look ready for the fight game. And because he has the Gracie name, because he's very good at jiu-jitsu, he's not going to fight some Joe Schmo fighter that trains out of some bullshit gym. He's only going to be put in there against prospects that are being developed. American Kickboxing Academy protege Shane Keefe. Wrestling background. I like the striking, rangy kickboxing. It's going to be a one-sided beatdown, and Shane Keefe's going to win by knockout. And I think it's the first round. Shane Keefe, minus 186 to the plus 170 dog. Gracie, great at jiu-jitsu, but not really in MMA, and he hasn't fought in years. I got to go with the guy making this a real full-time thing. Shane Keefe will get the knockout. Plus 105 inside the distance. I wish there was the KO prop. Under 1.5, I think could be pretty likely. I feel like Gracie's going to get overwhelmed in that first round with the striking and have no answer, because what I've seen of Gracie's striking is not good. Not good. Maybe he's made crazy improvements, or maybe he just really sucks on pads, but from footage that I watched, the man does not have the striking game to compete. Shane Keefe should get a W here. And they're about the same height. Gracie's like slightly taller when they faced off. And we also lost the fight last minute, which is unfortunate. It was that Eddie Abalazo, Art Hernandez fight. Eddie missed weight. I don't know, maybe second thoughts about fighting a guy with, 10th pro bout in your debut. Even if you have a Muay Thai background, it's MMA. It's a different game. Bobby Cerrone versus Aaron Hunter. Is this fight still 100% on? Because I do feel like they switched the matchups. I was looking through the weigh-ins. Let's double check this, because I want to give you guys the most accurate truth. We're checking this out live right now. I just feel like I'm 99% sure Cerrone now fighting different matchup. Let's see though. I'll confirm. We're flying through. I apologize that we got to do this live, but I'd rather give you guys the most accurate truth. Yeah, Bobby Cerrone is now fighting Socrates Hernandez. They switched the matchup, so this is actually incorrect. That's an interesting matchup switch, because you had Cerrone, big favorite, taking on Socrates, who was a bit of an underdog. You saw here he pulled out of his fight versus Pedro Suarez. I guess the fight just got canceled, and I liked Socrates as an underdog. Now switching to fight Cerrone. Socrates, I want to double check this. He's got 4 pro fights, 5'11", lanky kid. The opponent, Bobby Cerrone, how tall is he? 5'7", no reach listed. Pro debut, that's a difficult debut, man. I think Socrates could end up pulling that one out. I'm going to go with Socrates Hernandez. Potential decision or even a KO TKO. That's a hard matchup for a pro debut. And yeah, it's not even listed. Maybe those lines drop tomorrow, so it'd be something we'll talk about on the Fight Companion. Nothing there right now, but I do believe Socrates will be an underdog, and I think that's an underdog that's pretty viable. He should win the fight. Next one, it is Abraham Vasquez versus Albert Gonzalez. I like what I get from Albert Gonzalez. He's lanky, he's tall, come forward style. He's a guy that definitely entertains. 2-2 pro record, but actually has some pretty nice kickboxing. His opponent, 5-3, better record, more pro experience. Granted, gives up 5 inches in height, gives up, 5 inches in reach as well, which I think is a fair, 4 inches of reach, but that's a fair factor. Granted, Gonzalez's leg was so badly snapped. If you look back on one of his fights, it was against, it was a loss here. It was against Tyson Melender. It was disgusting. His leg snapped, actually extremely similar to how Anderson Silva snapped. And granted, he's been able to bounce back. Fighting a southpaw with punching power in Abraham Vasquez. It's a hard matchup. I don't think it's easy. I like Gonzalez as an underdog, but I definitely think he could get caught and hurt here. Slightly leaning Gonzalez, though, to get the knockout, but dangerous fight. More of a dog or pass, really. But Vasquez has power. He has a chance here, but I like Albert Gonzalez to win. Plus 122, Vasquez minus 130. Let's see what we have for Vasquez. Vasquez inside the distance, plus 145. I think this fight could be an under 2.5 or at minus 165. That's a safer bet if you're going to be throwing down, for any of the props. I like that. But I think Big Al, underdog. And I think knockout, second round. Next fight, Khalid Muratsaliev versus Anthony Adams. I don't know what the significance of that mask was that Anthony Adams was wearing. If you watch the weigh-ins, he was wearing a mask the whole time. So I don't know much about what that is. That was kind of odd. But the matchup, Khalid Muratsaliev is going to run him over. There's not really a ton that we have to talk about. Yes, Muay Thai is very good for Sugarfoot Anthony Adams. But Khalid Murataliyev is a Russian fighter who can do it all. He's going to chain wrestle. He's going to set up his takedowns with strikes, and his kickboxing is very good. He's going to put Anthony Adams on the back, dominant top control, ground and pound. Victory, I think, potential dominant decision, lopsided decision here. But I do think Anthony Adams is tough enough to play it out for 3 rounds. I mean, he is a Contender Series vet. Still think, though, Khalid Murataliyev will be too much for him. Decision, Khalid. Look at the odds. They should be pretty wide. Yeah, minus 335 is your best value for Khalid, but he's in the 500 range. Plus 415 for Anthony Adams. Let's see. Murataliyev over 1.5 is minus 195. I think it probably will go over the 1.5. Murataliyev wins by decision. Plus 163. It's interesting. He's expected to get a finish here, but I think they're sleeping on Adams. And Murataliyev would have to have a real picture-perfect performance. I mean, he has decisions in the past. Not like he's just a knockout artist. It's Khalid decision, guys, and it's plus money. That's what you want to probably jump on if you're looking for props. Is Khalid Murataliyev win by a decision. Plus 163. Let's keep on moving up this Bellator card. We're getting closer and closer to that main card. Started at 14. Now we're down to 12 fights. I honestly prefer a little bit less. We lost a few of those earlier fights, which, I mean, unfortunate, but they weren't all bangers. Next fight, Grant Neal, Alex Polizzi. This shit's competitive. This heats up. You look at them face off. Muscle-wise, yeah, Grant Neal's bigger, but size is about the same. Very good jiu-jitsu skills, good wrestler. Polizzi's pretty creative on the ground. Grant Neal, forward pressure, style of striking. Going to look to get control of you. He's going to control you on the ground with his physical strength and top pressure. Can beat you up. He has submissions. You saw him choke out T. Edwards in the last one. And I think Grant Neal loses, though, to Alex Polizzi. The matchup isn't great for him. Alex Polizzi should put on a pretty solid showcase. I think if he's on the ground and he gets taken down, he's threatening him from the back. I think he'll somehow get a submission. He'll lock something up. Polizzi has a very tricky jiu-jitsu game, and I think he could get the fight to the floor. Win, second round submission. Alex Easy Polizzi in this matchup. Plus 180, minus 185. I like that plus 180. Polizzi wins inside the distance, plus 400. If they had sub, I'd say throw down on that, but I don't really want to prop it. I'd rather just play it straight. Plus 180, Polizzi, underdog play. I like that here for this matchup. I'm excited to see Polizzi go out there and fight again. I like his style. And yeah, the size is not a substantial difference when you see them facing off, but muscle-wise, a bit here. But as far as reach, height, no. Christian Edwards starts off the main card. If you haven't yet, smash the hell out of that like button for this dual weigh-in recap show. Got a lot to cover. We got a lot left. Let's talk about this one. It's Christian Edwards, Ben Padish, the big tuna. You see them at weigh-ins. Parrish looked chunky. Christian Edwards looked his normal self. It's not changing anything. Christian Edwards will run through Ben Parrish. I think he'll probably stop him in the second round. I'm thinking KO, TKO. And I think he's going to pick him apart with technical kickboxing here. And I mean, if you look at Parrish's loss, he did break his leg, same way that Gonzalez did, like a Silva-style break. It was in a fight against an opponent who, I believe, was he 2-0? Logan Woods, not super experienced. Christian Edwards is 5-0, but at a higher level, and he was losing. Ben Parrish was clearly losing that bout, and he ended up losing, by bad injury, but not the way that you want it, though. Christian Edwards, domination, knockout, second round. It won't be close. And the odds more than agree. Minus 900, plus 760. I don't think there's really much to throw down on the big tuna here. I'd be shocked if we come back and he ends up winning the bout. Edwards wins by KO TKOs minus 190. Probably will get that. I mean, you could sprinkle that minus 190, but at that point, go Edwards inside the distance minus 300. Ugly value, but he should get a win here. Maybe the unders, under 1.5. I think it should be under 1.5, but I wouldn't be super shocked. It's going to end inside the distance, minus 450. The value is just ugly here. This is an ugly fight to bet, but it's definitely a win for Christian Edwards. Shouldn't be close at all. Next fight of the night, Georgi Karahanyan taking on Saul Rogers. This is a good matchup here in the lightweight division. Rogers jumping up a weight class. I think that was the right move for him. He's a pretty filled out dude. Even at 155, he's always been big at 45, but he looks good sized at 55, especially against a shorter guy in Georgi Karahanyan. How will the physical strength compare, though? Because I think Karahanyan's on level with Saul Rogers' physical strength. I think advantages for Karahanyan do lie with the boxing. Jiu-jitsu, it's Saul Rogers. He definitely is a better grappler than Georgi, though. Watch out for the tricky guillotine. Georgi doesn't have to be as good of you as a grappler, but he can still catch you in a submission if you don't mind your P's and Q's, especially if Rogers leaves his neck out for a takedown. He could be in trouble. I think Georgi could get the upset by a decision. Not an easy fight, though. Plus 109, minus 117. It's a near pick'ems for a reason. It's because it is a very competitive matchup. Saul Rogers, though, I think will drop it to Karahanyan by a decision. Karahanyan to win a decision, plus 265. Fight goes the distance, minus 130. Interesting. I like that minus 130 tag. Fight goes the distance. But yeah, we're definitely going with Georgi Karahanyan over Saul Rogers here. Should be a hard-fought win. I'm thinking decision, maybe 29-28. Now, next fight, we got some ladies going at it. It's interesting. Laura's listed at 5'7", so much taller than Deanna Bennett. There's not really a height difference. When you look at them actually face off, they look about the same height. I like Deanna Bennett. I think that the physical strength could be a factor if she can find her way inside. Submission game is decent on the opposite side with Laura. I think top pressure better from Bennett. Boxing, atrocious on Bennett's side. I mean, she's not a great striker. Laura has the striking edge. It's not an easy fight. I don't like to bet lower levels of women's MMA. I mean, it's hard even to bet the highest levels sometimes. You got to go underdog or pass. I'm going to pick Deanna Bennett, and I think she'll potentially get a grinding decision over Laura, but not an easy fight, not a fight I personally like betting, even if it's the underdog. Maybe you sprinkle play it to make yourself a little cash potentially, but these girls can let you down for sure. Minus 167, plus 167. All right. Fight goes a distance, minus 225. That's a smart play, as I really think it will. Bennett wins by a decision, plus 195. Not bad. There's definitely some plays here. I like Vitamin D, Deanna Bennett. Co-main event, Neiman Gracie, Mark Lemenger. This fight, it's exciting. Mark Lemenger has some pretty decent wrestling skills, solid boxing. He comes in close well. A unique style of holding his hands that you see a lot of wrestlers tend to have, like a bit stiff, but not bad. Like he definitely has a bit of pop. On the other side, Neiman Gracie, striking wise, he really fights off the back foot more, Thai-esque style, but that's not his strong suit. He is capable. He wants fights on the ground. He's going to deal with a wrestler here. Will he be able to get him down? I think he will. Gracie has really good trips inside the clinch. He'll pull down and drop for heel hooks, potentially might even pull guard, and off of his back, he's extraordinarily effective. I think Lemenger is on real trouble if this fight hits the floor. And striking, I don't think Lemenger has the greatest of skill sets to pull it off. I think if Neiman Gracie can put out John Fitch by submission, he can beat Mark Lemenger here for sure. Stylistic matchups, not easy, but I will pick Neiman Gracie. I think he gets a victory here by a submission, second round. Now, watch out for the legs, potential heel hook or some type of leg lock. Neiman Gracie, minus 263 to plus 236. I like Gracie all day here. Gracie wins by submission, plus 150. Gracie sub. I like Gracie. Neiman Gracie for the victory. All right, let's jump to the main event. If you haven't yet, smash the hell out of that like button. We need at least 100 likes up in here on this dual weigh-in recap. We're talking the Bellator main event. It's Yoel Romero versus Phil Davis, the Soldier of God versus Mr. Wonderful. Both have good UFC experience. Davis never challenging for a title, but he was always in the top of the light heavyweight division. Has a win over Glover, who right now is going to be fighting for the belt. So, top level. Yoel, 3 straight losses, though controversial loss to Whitaker, back and forth loss to Paulo Costa, which now I guess didn't age great because Costa, I'm not saying he sucks, but that loss to Israel Adesanya dropped his stock substantially. And then Yoel Romero has a pretty boring fight with Israel. It was shit. It was a slow paced fight. It was awkward. Adesanya was worried about his power, and then obviously Romero didn't throw a ton. It was just a weird fight. Yoel Romero here against Phil Davis. I think he will have a lot more activity than he did against Adesanya. I feel like he'll still be light on his feet. He's going to carry a bit more muscle up at 205. I think the strength edge will be there. Maybe he times in some takedowns for points, and maybe he gets Davis down, which has never been an easy thing to do. Granted, is the likelihood of him wrestling high? Probably not. Probably going to see a striking match. I think Romero and Davis are very competitive striking. I think Romero technically just slightly superior. And even so, if the technique is near par, speed advantage, Yoel Romero. Explosiveness advantage, Yoel Romero. Davis, though, he does have the range advantage, 6'2 versus 6 foot. I like Romero. I think he'll win a fight by decision. Not an easy one. Definitely about Phil Davis could win, and I would not be shocked if he does win it. But I got to go with my man, Yoel Romero. Underdog, plus 118, minus 122 favorite, Phil Davis. Let's see here. Romero wins by a decision. Davis decision. Romero, where's Romero decision? There it is. Romero wins by decision, plus 330. It's an all right play. Do think over 1.5. I think over 2.5. I think fight goes the distance is a safer play than anything at minus 163. Neither guy huge finishers, at least as of late. But I'll ride with Yoel Romero to win that Bellator main event. Overall, pretty decent Bellator card. It gets good with the main event. Going to be some early prelims with lower level stuff, but the main card, things do get heated very well, and I'm looking forward to seeing it. All right, we have to now jump to the UFC. If you haven't, guys, smash the hell out of that like button. Much love to everybody tuning into the show. And yes, we do have a fight companion tomorrow for everybody who's asking. We're definitely going to do it. Have to do it when there's a Bellator card on. So that should be a lot of fun. Make sure to tune into that. And let's get into the UFC's card. All right, we're getting down. Emily Whitmire, Hannah Goldie. Pretty good fight. Women's MMA is tricky. I mean, Goldie has a great physique. She's physically very strong with decent straight punch flurries. Whitmire, a little bit better with her kickboxing. Rangier, though. I think she'll lack a bit of physical strength. And I feel like this fight will be a lot of forward pressure, looking for grappling by Hannah Goldie. Let's quickly pull up the images here. There's Goldie with her signature physique. And then there's Emily Whitmire across the way. I mean, not a fight I'd throw down on. As they face off, I think Goldie could be in trouble too. Very competitive bout. I'll have to lean Hannah Goldie. I do think she'll win by a decision over Emily Whitmire. But it's not a fight that I'll be throwing the action at money-wise. I don't feel like there's much of a point on that one. I think that's how you get yourself in big trouble, would be betting on a fight like that. Emily Whitmire, minus 115. Goldie, plus 108. Pretty much your pick'ems here. The prop that you could potentially do would be like over 1.5, or fight goes the distance, minus 275 for sure. But I got to go with Hannah Goldie to get the W. Not a fight that I'm throwing down on, though. No action on my end there. Next fight is Gustavo Lopez and Khalil Elaton. This is a good matchup in the bantamweight division. Kind of an interesting fight, right? Because you have this Mongolian knight. I mean, they have a lot of hype in these fighters from that region. Loses a lot of lost as of late. He's a technical striker, but when he gets in close, he's hittable. And Lopez has some good hooks from inside, tends to get in range well, and he also has good wrestling skills to mix it up. He won that Combate belt, which I mean, it's fairly high level. There's the fighters there. I mean, the size is about the same. I look at it, I see Gustavo Lopez knocking him out. I think second round KO, Gustavo Lopez. Plus money, plus 115. Khalil Elaton, minus 124. All right, let's see. Lopez by KO, TKO, plus 700. That's huge money. That would be a Hail Mary play, but I'm not going to be shocked if I see Lopez crack that chin of Elaton Haley. Definitely a Lopez W. Next fight of the night. How many do we have for UFC? 14. Jesus. Crazy UFC card. Impa Kasunganai and Carlston Harris going at it. Kasunganai, pretty well-rounded game, but like for, a newer fighter. He has like a Pretty good pace that he slowly will put on you. He'll get inside. He'll land takedowns, top control, decent subs. I think he's definitely finding his groove at 170 pounds. And across the way, he's fighting a very wrestling-heavy attack of fighter in Carlston Harris. Does have some decent Brazilian jiu-jitsu skills. Not an easy fight. His stand-up's awkward, though. Carlston Harris is at a disadvantage standing. I know that Impa Kasanganay has that terrible knockout loss that maybe hurt his confidence striking, which, I mean, I don't blame him. It was a brutal knockout. You look at them face off here. Size is similar. Intensity is there on both sides. I mean, Carlston Harris is no pushover. And the odds have Impa Kasanganay as the favorite just by a little bit. And that's for a reason. Plus 102 for Harris, minus 110. Impa Kasanganay. I got to stick with my man Kasanganay to win a decision, but I don't feel like it's an easy fight here. And I think he's going to run into a tricky matchup versus Carlston Harris. Plus 200, Kasanganay wins by a decision, but not recommending a bet on the props for this one. Get to the next fight of the night for the UFC. All right, we got Erin Blanchfield versus Sarah Alpar. Oh, man. Okay, so honestly, I'm not super excited for this fight. Sorry, guys. I'll be 100% real. But Blanchfield, she's got okay striking, Thai boxing style. Or BJJ is where she does shine. That's her best attribute, black belt in jiu-jitsu. On the other side, Alpar's an awkward southpaw. Decent wrestling, and she does put a lot of forward pressure. 6-1 record versus 9-5. So there is a good amount of pro experience favoring Alpar. Physically, she's at a disadvantage with the reach. She's also the older girl, though. The strength edge could definitely be there. Alpar should get a sub. Or excuse me, Blanchfield should get a sub. But Alpar has a shot in this fight. With lesser experienced girls, I mean, the odds should not be this wide. I'll be honest, if you touch this line, you're playing with fire here. That's going to be on you. But personally, I do not even consider a bet on this right here. Erin Blanchfield minus 300. Too unproven, though. Blanchfield submission plus 500. Wow. I mean, maybe you Blanchfield sub it up at plus 500 and hope for the best, but ain't touching it. We'll go Blanchfield submission, I think second round, but she's fighting Alpar, who could definitely end up putting on her and winning as a dog. And the odds for Alpar, I mean, it's more of a dog or pass style play if you're betting, plus 340. If you want to play Alpar, she definitely is in a fight that she could win. I don't think she's this phenomenal prospect, but definitely, like, I mean, look, the frames, I don't know. It's hard sometimes with the older girl, more pro experience. I don't care how good your jiu-jitsu is and how much of a prospect you are. Let's see what happens when you get under the big lights of the UFC. Alpar's been there. Next fight, Montel Jackson and JP Buys. They're throwing JP Buys to the wolves, man. I think they're trying to get rid of the Buys crew because this is not easy. This is a rough matchup for JP. I think he's in big trouble against Montel Jackson. Montel Jackson has pretty decent wrestling skills, but kickboxing, he started to really shine in. He fights out of the southpaw stance, which I do think is a factor. You know, JP Buys, a bit of a reckless striker. He does have good Thai-esque kickboxing. Young, though. He's very young. He's 25. Montel Jackson, 29. More age to his game, more experience. His wrestling is good, but he's also got some heavy hands. Sneaky knockout power. And I think he's going to put it on JP in this fight. I think Montel Jackson's second round KO. Quickly look at the face-offs there. Both guys in good shape. That range advantage for Montel. I don't know, man. I think JP could be in trouble. I mean, could he shock the world? As a huge favorite, he definitely would be shocking a lot of people. JP Buys is plus 500. Montel Jackson minus 572. Fight ends inside the distance, minus 185. Jackson KO plus 125. He's expected to get the knockout. And I think Montel Jackson does get a finish in this fight. Looking forward to seeing how long JP can survive in there. I mean, hey, he could totally change some minds and put on the performance of a lifetime. But he's just so many disadvantages. Also physically, 5'10", 5'5", 75.5-inch reach, 67-inch reach. Montel Jackson. Next fight of the night. Also, guys, if you haven't, smash the hell out of that like button for this dual weigh-in recap. Long show, lots of action, lots of fights to talk about. So we're going mad deep here. Zurong versus Brandon Jenkins, the human highlight reel. Okay, so I'll be honest with you guys. Watching some footage of Brandon Jenkins, you got to get some confidence in him. He recently fought and won in PFL against Jacob Kilburn. Rangy striker, nasty kickboxing skills, lots of experience. Got an age advantage by 8 years. This is a hard matchup, man. Zhu Rong is getting thrown in there against a guy who's working his way and has been grinding for years. I feel like I would never touch Zhu Rong at a minus 265. Brandon Jenkins, can he last? Is he in shape? That's what fears me. My biggest fear is he in shape? Well, look at the weigh-in, which, I mean, Brandon Jenkins doesn't look shredded. He turned his back here. Zhu Rong has been dialed in, training for a UFC fight. I really want to pick Brandon Jenkins, though. I mean, he's in for a difficult fight, though. And you know what? I can't go against my truth. I have to stick with Zhu Rong. I think he's going to probably get a second-round knockout of Brandon Jenkins. I think Jenkins will be gassed. He doesn't look in good shape. I think he's going to lose. If this was full camp, that's a hard fight. Short notice, as short as it is, just a couple days, Zhu Rong, knockout. Second round, a tired Brandon Jenkins. Odds, obviously wide. Fight ends inside the distance. Minus 150, that's a lock. I think it's not going the distance. Wrong, KO, TKO, plus 150. I like Wrong here, but he's young. He's young. He is 21. So be cautious with this one. But I do think Zhu Rong should beat Brandon Jenkins, especially the shape Jenkins looks to be in. Next fight of the night, Penny Kianzad versus Raquel Pennington. With the boxing skill set Penny has, there's definitely opportunities to, if she can control range, mix it up from distance. I think her straight punches are pretty solid. Good 1-2 down the line. Nice jab. One of the better jabs in the game. She's 29. Her opponent's 33. Raquel Pennington is going to look to clinch up. She's not going to be able to compete with Penny strike for strike, I don't feel. But she's durable. She moves forward. And she makes it uncomfortable for girls that she fights. And for that reason, I do think Raquel probably does get a decision W. There's Raquel. She looks a little bit leaner than normal. I think Raquel Pennington's going to win this bout, man. I like Raquel. I'm on Team Raquel. I think Raquel Pennington win by a decision over Penny Kianzad. Let's see what the odds think. Raquel's a slight favorite, minus 117. Kianzad, plus 110. Fight goes the distance, guys. It's going the distance. These girls are. Minus 300. Pennington, decision, plus 135. I like Pennington all day, guys. Raquel Rocky Pennington for the dub. But lower level girls, not the best bet you could do. Tefan Chukwi and Mike Rodriguez. Tefan looks so slow in that last fight. Like, unreasonably slow. He's a powerful striker for sure, and he has knockout ability. But, man, not the best footwork, not the best head movement, and slow punches. On the other side, Mike Rodriguez's nickname is Slow, but I don't think he's nearly as slow as Tefan. Southpaw, who's lanky, good from range, decent enough grappling game. I think he's going to get the W over Tefan Chukwi. I think potentially Rodriguez could find his way on top, get some ground and pound off, maybe even a rear naked choke submission. I think Mike Rodriguez's submission could potentially be a play. I do think he beats Tefan. Tefan's he's in good shape, but he's at a disadvantage. I see Mike Rodriguez, southpaw stance, giving him some problems, especially from the range. I mean, we might just look at Mike Rodriguez work towards a decision. Plus 104 Rodriguez, minus 112 for Tefan Chukwi. Let's see. Rodriguez wins by a decision is plus 270. Rodriguez wins by a submission plus 2,000. Wow, plus 2,000. What if you got a rear naked choke? I think you could get a potential KO TKO, but that sub prop could be nice. We're liking Mike Rodriguez, though, in this fight inside the distance. All right, let's jump to the main card. If you guys have not yet, smash the hell out of that like button. Much love for everybody tuning in to this super dual weigh-in recap. We're covering both Bellator and UFC Vegas 37 at once. Makes it easier that way. And it's always fun to go live with my people. Much love to everybody who's tuning in live or replay. It is appreciated. Just got to take a moment, get some water down before we get at this shit. All right. Let's go. Let's go. Joaquin Buckley, Antonio Arroyo. Good fight. A fight that has me excited. Knockout puncher Joaquin Buckley. Good distance Thai style from Antonio Arroyo. I like the way he keeps his hands low, fights well from range, good kicking game. Joaquin Buckley on the other side, knockout puncher for sure, with very good boxing skills. And he has like a real pressure forward style. I like Joaquin Buckley, and I like him to possibly win by KO. He's at a disadvantage of size. Can he find his way inside to land those hooks? I don't know. Will he? I like Numansa. Joaquin Buckley over Antonio Arroyo. We'll ride with him. Knockout. And I think it's probably going to be early. If you want to bet it, though, minus 185, plus 175. Let's see. Buckley by KO TKO, plus 110. I don't love it. I don't love it. But I do think this fight maybe under 1.5 plus 110. Oof. Money's close. I think Buckley could get a KO. But outside of beating Impa Kasanganay and Jordan Wright, who has he beaten, inside of the UFC? Not really anybody there, but granted, Arroyo doesn't look great either from what we've seen. He's actually at a size advantage, but a reach disadvantage. I think Buckley's boxing gets it done here. Second round knockout. The next fight of the night, Nate Maness, Tony Gravely. Nate Maness gets a main card showcase. This is exciting for him. This is a good fight. I'm pumped. I feel like Nate Maness from range is very good. He has nice kickboxing skills with knockout power. He's got good submission ability, and his wrestling base is good as well. Maness facing off against a very tricky pressure striker with knockout ability. Physically, very strong and heavy ground and pound. For me, I like Nate Maness, and I do think he'll get a decision win, a hard-fought one against Tony Gravely. You can look at the face-off here. Look at that size difference. From range, that's going to be such a factor. Nate Maness' frame is so good for 135. I'm telling you, keep an eye on Nate. I really think he works his way to that top of the weight class. I mean, you look at his UFC debut win, hard-fought decision over Johnny Munoz Jr., and you look what Munoz Jr. did to Jamie Simmons. His levels, like Nate Maness is very good. Plus 182 to minus 192. I think Nate Maness, decision though. Decision. I don't think he gets the finish in this fight. Maness wins by a decision, plus 400 value for that. I like that Nate Maness decision. I think he gets a W here. Should be good. And I definitely think if you're looking to even play it safer, you don't want to pick the winner. Over 1.5, minus 325. Over 2.5, minus 170. Fight goes the distance, minus 150. You could even play. I think fight does go the distance here. Next fight of the night. We almost jumped back to Bellator by accident there. We're jumping to the UFC, though. We're sticking with Christos Giagos and Arman Tsarukyan. I like the fight, and it's a showcase for Tsarukyan. I feel like he hasn't looked like super entertainingly impressive, but he's looked good, right? Look at the last three. Dominant decisions. He uses his wrestling game. He fights Giagos now, who, not an easy matchup, really. I mean, Giagos has a pretty well-rounded skill set, and you see Tsarukyan has this huge favorite status. He's a hyped guy. There's a lot of push behind him. When they match up, I think striking advantage slightly towards Giagos. Grappling, it's Tsarukyan, top pressure, Tsarukyan. If he can land the takedown, I think he controls this fight, wins the decision. I like Arman Tsarukyan for the W. Look at them face off here. You can't sleep on Giagos. He comes in great shape. This is a real stern test for the 24-year-old. Tsarukyan will pass. Won't be as easy as the lines will have you believing it will be. Tsarukyan's a big favorite. Minus 700 to plus 600. Arman Tsarukyan win by a decision. Minus 120. I like Arman Tsarukyan. All right, let's keep on moving. Mandy Bohm, Ariane Lipski. I like this fight, man. Okay. So with this matchup right here, I feel like Lipski has a striking advantage for sure. But Bohm, tricky from the outside with a decent jab. Her hands, though, are a bit low. She hasn't had that much high-level experience, and she's older than Ariane Lipski. Bellator W, though. Trains with that SBG team. Just because she trains with that team is not like I'm going to jump on the line for her. I think Ariane Lipski should get the W. Aggressive hook flurries. I think close fight, goes the distance, decision. Ariane Lipski will actually quickly look at the face-off there. About the same size. I mean, physically, they look about the same. I'm excited for this matchup. I think these girls are going to put together a very entertaining fight. Minus 117, plus 110. I'm expecting striking, and I think close decision for Ariane Lipski. Lipski, if she were to win a decision, what's the prop? Lipski, win by decision, plus 220. Over 1.5. Minus 365, over 2.5, minus 200. I think fight probably goes the distance, but because the Queen of Violence is involved, I wouldn't want to just throw down the bet on that. If you like Lipski, you can bet her straight. It's women's MMA, though, which is always a very high inherent risk. Co-main event, Ion Cutelaba and Devin the Brown Bear Clark. If you watch the weigh-ins, these guys were going after each other nicely. More so on the side of Cutelaba. You can see he's trying to keep him away. Clark's like, listen, man, stay off of me, bro. Like, let me not get assaulted here during the damn weigh-ins. But that's how it goes sometimes with Ion Cutelaba. He gets intense at the face-offs. But skill set-wise, he has a good one. Wrestling like a savage. Very forward, heavy pressure attack. And when he gets on top, ferocious ground and pound. Granted, maybe goes a little too crazy looking for the finish. On the other side, Devin Clark, pretty patient with his wrestling, though he does start fast as well. Doesn't unload as crazily with the volume of strikes when he's on the ground. I mean, kind of, not saying a boring style, but you look, right? He beat Alonzo Menfield in a essential snooze fest where he just pushed the pace forward, held on. He got cracked a few times, and then he wins that fight by a decision. I think Cutelaba's the better wrestler of the two. I feel like it's actually going to be closer than a lot of people probably believe. I feel like they're going after it for 3 rounds potentially here. And I got to pick Ion Cutelaba to get the W, but Devin Clark is live. Odds, minus 145 to plus 137. Let's see. Fight goes the distance. I think fight goes the distance. What's that at? Fight goes the distance is plus money, plus 155. Interesting, they're expecting a decision. I'm kind of seeing it like this. I think both might go hard in that first, but maybe Clark holding on for the ride. Cutelaba gets a bit tired, and then slowly the pace weans down, and then we're looking at 3 between Cutelaba and Devin Clark. I like Cutelaba. He could get a stoppage. I got Cutelaba getting the W at the least in this fight against Devin Clark. Now let's jump to the main event of the evening. It's me pretty excited here. It's a good matchup between both of these light heavyweights. You look at Ryan Spann coming in, normal physique. Anthony Smith looking pretty par as well to his normal frame. It's interesting Spann didn't look at him. So speed advantage, Anthony Smith with the strikes, though I think Spann probably has a little bit better boxing. Reach advantage, which is a factor. Spann, expect a good amount of kicking attacks. Won't be shocked if Smith actually looks to engage in some of the grappling. Won't be easy to get Spann to the ground in the first round. I could actually see Spann winning the first round, but I do think he starts gassing in round 3, and I think Anthony Smith slowly builds up more momentum towards a submission in the 3rd round. I like Anthony Smith by sub. I think his jiu-jitsu is better than Ryan Spann's. I think his kicks are better. As far as boxing, though, I do think if Spann lands a straight punch, Smith could be in trouble, but he's always shown very good durability. I think Anthony Smith with the W. 3rd round submission. See what the odds have us thinking. Let's see. Anthony Smith, minus 152. Spann, plus 144. That sub prop is going to be juicy. That's what I'm expecting. Smith submission, plus 375. That's not bad, but people have bet it because I think a lot of people meant to like, hey, this fight gets to the ground. Anthony Smith's jiu-jitsu has been looking pretty nice lately. I think Anthony Smith submission, plus 375. He's going to beat Ryan Spann here. Does Spann have a chance? Definitely. KO, plus 400. Unlikely, though. I mean, a lot of guys have beaten the brakes off Anthony Smith, and he just keeps coming forward. The man's made out of steel, and I think that will be on showcase as well here. Over 1.5, minus 163. Casher, definitely a parlay addition, that over 1.5 if you're not looking to bet the main event. Now, guys, smash the hell out of that like button. I will send you off with a minimalist crossplay. If you haven't seen this week's Best MMA Bets, go check that out. There is some interesting plays we could potentially make over there. Okay, so if you play Anthony Smith over 1.5, right? And you parlay that up with Khalid Muratsaliev from Bellator, plus 107. If you're also feeling confident, maybe you want to play somebody from the UFC, maybe you play Sarukian, or maybe you just stay on the safe side and you play Montel plus 138. I mean, yeah, it's minimalist value, but it's a lot that you could really take back. Now, if you're feeling confident in the main event, you could bet Smith. It would bring you to that plus 200 range. If you also maybe want to play Sarukian with, where's he at? Now I can't find them. Montel Jackson plus 167. And if you're like, dude, I'm feeling confident, I want to bet money on Bellator too. You could throw down if you want to bring the big man Romero in plus 435. But these are riskier. The first one I showed you is the one that I think is a definite casher. The rest is kind of when you start getting into risky territory. I like this one here more so than adding Romero in, to be honest. Plus 257 for that. So some good value, some money to be made. Overall, 2 solid cards this weekend. I will be doing the Fight Companion. It will be, I guess, specified towards Bellator more so, but we'll cover the UFC as well. Much love to everybody who tuned in live, everybody chatting up in the live chat. Love all you guys. Shout out to everybody who's there. We'll have a lot of fun. That Fight Companion tomorrow, which should be a very good time. Much love to all my people. Make sure you tune in to all the content. We're covering a lot of things on the channel. We got the predictions, betting breakdowns, weigh-in recaps. We're also adding in that AJ Unfiltered series where I talk about, trending news and whatnot and give my reaction to it. So make sure to check that out as well. Much love, my people. Smash the likes. We need 100 likes. Subscribe if you're new here. Turn on those post notifications. And I will see you all in the next video. Have a great night, everybody.